take it. We'll take it. Good enough.
Yeah, it's good enough. It's good enough. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just has to be good enough. Which is
It just has to be.
It just has to be good enough. That's all that matters, man. I don't ask for perfection in anything that I do because I don't think it's possible like 90% of the time. Oh, goodness. Welcome back.
Well, what about that 10% you conveniently left there?
I feel really strongly about that 10% though. If I'm working towards perfection, it's a scenario where I can't. It's a scenario where like I on like a spiritual level cannot accept anything less than perfection. That's that 10%.
Okay, I feel that.
You know what I mean? Like it's one of those situations. It's like
after that FF10 screenshot, I think it's fair I can say I feel that.
You know,
I would want to get everyone to 255 luck. I mean, you can. It's not necessarily a good idea.
You can't.
It's not even useful.
I think you only need like 70? Like 70 or 80, something like that for luck.
I don't even think you need that because
it's like it's
luck is accuracy and evasion. If you've capped those two, you don't really need luck.
Yeah, you don't need a lot of luck if you've already capped out evasion. I mean, capped out accuracy.
Don't really need any because after a certain point, crits don't matter because you're already hitting for damage cap. Can't really crit for more than damage cap.
When my baseline hit is damage cap, who cares?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back, everybody.
All the celestial weapons just bypass defense.
Yeah, that too. If only they were. Well, no. Which one did you hate getting the most then?
Oh, I hate Lulu's.
Really?
Lulu's to me, I hate the most because it's just tedium.
Okay.
There's nothing interesting, nothing fun, nothing unique. It's just dodge 200 consecutive lightning bolts. If you got bored 170 through and got hit by one, well, start again.
Yeah. You know what? Valid. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, like, it's not interesting. It's just do this repetitive task.
I don't know. I didn't.
If you lose focus, do it over again from the start.
I didn't vibe.
You just have to keep Piccolo in mind. Dodge.
Exactly.
I didn't vibe the Suncrest, the Chocobo one, just because I felt like that was like equal parts. That's because I felt like there was a lot of like RNG.
There's a good bit of RNG in that. I'll admit that, but I've never found that one too bad. Like you can get that one in like
about
a couple hours.
Yeah, I got it in 2 hours. Took me about 2 hours to do.
Yeah, like 2 hours. I think probably the average, just because. One, getting warmed up, and then two, RNG sometimes just being a dick.
Yeah, RNG putting all the opening balloons right in front of where your opponent is. Right,
yeah,
his direct.
Like, well, I'm gonna just let this one go. I'm just gonna set the controller down.
I just lost. There's nothing I can do about this now.
Well, it's not even about win or loss. It's I'm not getting a 0 time, so this run's not even worth it. I'm gonna just set the controller down, let the Chocobo walk to the finish line, get hit by every blitz ball in the way.
Yeah.
But like Lulu's, it's really easy to just purely lose focus because there's nothing to think about.
Yeah.
That one, at least, you're thinking about how to path.
Yeah, at least you have like the pathing to consider.
Yeah, you're at least engaged.
All right.
And I also like Blitzball because I'm a fucking weirdo, so Wakas isn't a problem.
I'm happy to see you're still on brand about being a weirdo. Fair enough. I guess that's why you're on this show, right? That's why you're on. That's why you're here.
You invited me, so I mean, it's your fucking shit taste.
I mean, you're
the culprit here. You invited me.
I did. I did. For those of you who probably don't know, that is the voice of a good friend of mine who'll be joining us on the show and will be on the show for another 2 episodes after this show. So I hope y'all get fucking used to him because like a squatter.
Oh shit, we live?
Yeah. Yo, we're recording, bitch.
Oh, well, damn.
Yeah. and like a traditional squatter still sleeping on your couch even after they should have moved out. He's not going anywhere for a bit, ladies and gentlemen.
That's a little too close.
a little too close to comfort for you.
A little too close to home.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I just thought about that. Yeah, that probably is.
Nah,
That
don't
does
worry
it?
about it.
I'm about to say that. I feel like that probably would hit a little close for you. Fair enough.
Eh.
As we start every show, we're going to talk about what we've been playing recently. And, Soul, as a way for people to get to know you a little better, how about you start? What have you been?
Okay, so
What's been keeping your attention?
most of my attention, I just finished the PSP version of Tactics Ogre.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only time I'm going to shout out on your stream to buy something. Reborn I've bought. I felt that the writing alone legitimized Square Enix bringing it back for $50. The writing alone.
Damn.
And so I've started messing around on Reborn a little bit. I have mixed feelings about the changes. But to be fair, had I played the PlayStation version, I'd probably have mixed feelings about the changes to the PSP version, gameplay-wise.
Yeah, it's all
So-
perspective.
Well, the changes are drastic.
Oh.
To the point of gameplay-wise, you're basically playing a whole new game.
Damn.
I'll put it this way: it's almost as different as 7 to 7 remake.
Oh shit. Okay.
Like,
Okay.
That is quite the
the only
change.
difference is
Yeah.
the only difference is it didn't transition genres, but they made so many changes to how the game works that you're just playing a whole new game gameplay-wise, full stop.
Interesting.
But still keeping an incredible story. So, hey, there we go. And they added, honestly, really well done voice acting.
All right.
Besides that, I've been playing God Hand.
Yo, let's fucking
I've put it
go.
off for fucking years.
Let's
And,
fucking go.
I really should have played this one soon.
How have you not? I'm honestly shocked you haven't.
Yeah, because it seems like up my alley, doesn't it? It was one of those titles that I was like, yeah, I'll play it one day, and just never got to it.
Don't you fight a gorilla? That seems pretty much up your alley as something you would enjoy.
Believe it or not, that is the least insane thing that happens in that. Without question. A gorilla showing up after being dropped off at the bus stop reading a newspaper is the least crazy thing in that game.
I can believe it.
Oh god, I love it.
I mean, that being said, I still don't know why he was there, but
are you gonna question
or
him?
why he really wanted to fight me. It just kind of happened.
I'm not gonna question a fucking gorilla.
He was there, you were in his vicinity. That's enough.
Yeah,
He had his wrestling ring gear on. I mean, that's all that was needed.
He prepared for the day. It would have been a shame to not use it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I can't imagine getting that outfit on as a gorilla was easy. He probably that couldn't have been easy for him. He had some
I
drugs.
mean, he's got thumbs. I'm sure it worked out fine.
He had to put the luchador
I imagine
mask.
sizing for him would have been the problem, not putting it on.
Fair.
He was probably angry about the price because he had to get a custom size, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would suck.
Mm.
That's been the main things I've been playing.
Okay, fantastic. It's either you or me, CD.
I'll go. I don't have much.
Okay.
I've been mainly playing a game that's called Serialim Ultimate, which a friend of mine compared it to Dragon Quest Monsters. I'm not sure how close that
Okay.
is, but could be. It's you essentially go through randomly generated dungeons. You have up to 6 monsters with you. That at the start you have 2, and each enemy you defeat gets you mana from that monster, which you can then use to summon that specific monster. And then as it goes on, you can merge monsters to get perks from each into one, and that gives you quite a few interesting combinations to use.
Nice.
And every few levels you fight a boss and have to continue on, and if you repeat a level, every time you get a different small quest that you have to do before you can exit again. And quite interesting. And there are, I think, over 1,000 different monsters that you can fight over the course of the game.
Each of the and honestly, the comparison to Dragon Quest Monsters doesn't sound that far off. At least the first couple games back on Game Boy.
Yeah.
Both of them were randomly generated dungeons as well. Going through, and then after you defeated monsters, you would just get them, and then you'd breed them together to get new, better forms with new moves and with moves from the parents. So yeah, that seems like a pretty accurate statement, which sounds really sick, honestly.
It's quite nice. You can get it on Steam for a decent price, about $20. It has a very positive rating so far.
Dope.
But yeah, can recommend that.
Oh, is it me?
It's been pretty much my week, so yeah, it's your turn.
Fuck. All right. So, believe it or not,
I've had time to prep. Come on.
Believe it or not, I've actually been playing stuff like outside of like what I'm working on for a change. I've been trying to do that more and more and more lately. It's trying to play stuff and not instantly think this could be content, which that by itself could be a struggle. I've been playing Nocturne, Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne. And I had a moment. I'm still fairly early in the game. I'm a bit before you get to before you get to Matador, right? So I'm just before Matador. So I got to go get like a dollar bill from Loki's room. Yeah, I promise this makes more sense in context. But I ran into a situation where
it doesn't make any more sense in context. As someone who played it more recently, it makes it. That's all that happens.
Yeah, you're tasked to go get a dollar bill.
Loki's just a dick.
You're tasked.
There is no context.
You're tasked to get a dollar bill, and I remember I messaged Soul about this because I was feeling pretty good about my run, and then like the game, once I had to go into that warehouse, the game was throwing at me encounters with like 5, 6, and almost 8 monsters against me at a time. Which, fuck, I had a couple of near-death experiences because of that shit. Because even when you're a physical master race, you can only take so many punches to the solar plexus before you die. I tried, man. That shit was rough. Holy.
So it went the SMT route of, oh, you're feeling assured of yourself? Well, here's how to fuck that up.
Yeah, and the problem
is a reminder.
Yeah, the problem is I don't get access to like the compendium until like later. So I can't, as much as I want to fuse stuff away, the stuff I want to fuse is stuff I'm actually getting use out of like right now, right? So if I fuse it, I might end up fusing it into something that might be useful for like one task, but not useful for another task. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this next demon I'll fuse will be great physically, but like its magic stats gonna suck dick. And the monster and the demon I have to fuse to get it is like the demon I use to keep me healed and shit. Fuck. Okay, I guess not. Fuck it. And then, like with any SMT game I play, the few demons I want to get don't want to join me, or they're like, "Hey, I don't like you. Give me 100 Maka," and I'm like, "Okay, here. Give me 100 more Maka. Here. Give me a healing item."
Okay, sucker. Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks, sucker.
The worst of this, there's one demon in particular that has conveniently taken more money than any bad relationship I've ever been in, and that is Angel. Angel has taken more money out of my pocket directly than any abusive relationship I've ever been in. This bitch takes so much money out of you, and she makes you really think she's gonna go along with it, and then she's like, "I can't be with you," and then she just bounces. So now I'm out like 500 fucking Maka, 2 healing items. And it's just like, why do I even waste my time? I should have just fucking killed you, but you could actually be useful on my team, or as fusion fodder, or as just fusion fodder,
baby.
fusion fodder. But yeah, no, abusive ass relationships, man, abusive ass relationships. That shit is.
I mean, she's into the abuse. You see the way she dresses when she showed up. She
I-
came out casually like that.
Yeah.
Come on. That was your red flag.
So you know, after
That's not a red flag. That's an entire red building.
yeah, like so I learned my lesson very quickly. Angel is now KOS, kill on sight. There is no negotiation. There's no talking it out. Every time I see this bitch, I'm fucking blasting. Every time. I've also went back and continued playing Pokemon Legends Arceus because I've been I got addicted to that like hardcore and then stopped for a bit. Not because of the game. It was actually because I had other things to do that I wanted to focus on. So I went back and continued playing that. And
It works better than Scarlet.
Violet and Scarlet, yeah. At least that game's fun. At least that game like runs. Yeah, that's a thing. And I'm still
pretty sure Violet and Scarlet is as bad as it is because of Arceus. I didn't even realize those got released in the same year.
Yeah, probably.
And
it's not because of Arceus.
You can tell
it's
which one
because
they
of the
tried harder
Pokemon
on.
Company.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pokemon Company screwed the pooch here. But
I mean, that's nothing new. They've been doing that for quite a while, and people still lapping it up.
Since
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, dude, this is
What was it? 10 million in 3 days?
Yeah, this is a hot take I'm about to have right now. I don't think the Pokemon games have been like ultra super compelling since like Gen 4. I'm gonna say I didn't find Gen 5 all that great. I don't really see what people see about it. I think Gen 5 gets a pass because competitive. People hold Gen 5 as like the golden age of the competitive era, but that's about I don't know. I just didn't
that
find...
makes sense because I was about to say like Gen 5 is literally the generation that made me stop playing the series.
Yeah, Gen 5.
I just couldn't stand it.
Gen 5 gets a pass for most people because the competitive scene was so good. And it was. The competitive scene for Gen 5 was fantastic, but as like individual games, I didn't find Gen 5 all that fun. Just a hot take there. Or not even a hot... I don't even think that's a hot take. I don't even... No, I don't think that's
that hot.
There's
a reason people were very upset that the new remakes for Diamond and Pearl were so poor quality. Because there's a number of people consider that to be the high point of the Pokemon series.
It wasn't Diamond and Pearl I enjoyed though. It was Soul Silver and Heart Gold. I didn't really.
I mean, yeah. That's how I am.
Diamond and Pearl were okay.
Diamond and Pearl's still good.
They're okay. They're okay. But yeah, so Arceus has been fun. Always fun catching massive kaiju. That's kind of been the way I look at it. Is every area I go to, I'm like, I wonder what the giant kaiju for this area is gonna be. Oh shit, it's an actual fucking dinosaur. Ha! The Pokemon world is terrifying in this game. The implications are horrible. There must be thousands of dead people because of this massive land shark who murders people. Like, the Pokedex for Arceus is a terrifying piece of literature. It's horrifying.
I mean,
still convinced
that's
all Pokedex
not
entries are
that
written by a
new,
child?
isn't it?
I think it's worse. I think Arceus is even worse in some regards. Because, like, Snorlax is totally seen in a different light in this game. Because in the Pokedex for Arceus, it states that Snorlax has a habit of going into villages and eating up their food supplies. And then causing mass famine. The Snorlax didn't kill. The Snorlax, not like the Snorlax went in there and hyper beamed these motherfuckers. He just ate all their food. They starved to death. That's a terrible way to go. Because how are you going to stop that thing? If Snorlax rolls up to your Snorlax rolls up into your town, decides to eat all your food, you get fucked, I guess.
Good luck. That's just the force of nature at that point, I guess.
Get fucked.
Man, too bad there were no 10-year-olds around here that could have dealt with him.
Yeah, like, get fucked, I guess. You're just gonna have to die on principle. But yeah, that's about it. That's been my week. Take it for what it is.
Wouldn't it be a shame if the oldest kid in that village was 9? He only had 2 days till his birthday.
Yeah. The whole village just blaming him for not being born 2 days sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you were born 2 days sooner, you might be able to catch this fucking thing and save us from the eventual.
Now we're all gonna die, Timmy.
Now we're all gonna die. Now we're all gonna die thanks to starvation, or half of us are gonna die due to cannibalism.
Mm-hmm. The equivalent of 2 days till retirement.
Yeah. All right, so this week we have an interesting set of stories, kind of, I think. The first one I wanted to use this one was pulled off of Video Game Chronicle, and it is Days Gone director blames middling reviews on woke reviewers and tech issues. Well, I'd say at least half of his statement's probably true. I don't know how to feel about the other half, but fair enough. John Gavin tweeted this theory in response to a fan asking why he thought the post-apocalyptic PS4 biker game didn't get more praise when it was first released. 3 reasons. It had tech issues like bugs, streaming, and frame rate. It had reviewers who couldn't be bothered to actually play the game. And 3, it had woke reviewers who couldn't handle a gruff white biker looking at his date's ass.
I mean, I do remember people
for the
being...
record,
Mm-hmm.
2/3
Go
of
ahead.
that, you're probably right. The third one, you're probably also right. But I imagine that was a pretty small minority of players.
Yeah, like I don't really
Just saying.
Like, I don't really feel like there were that many people who were like, I'm knocking.
I do remember there being people that complained about the wedding scene and all that.
But my point is, in the event that the game didn't have a bunch of bugs on release, and that, it was just a more compelling title, instead of it being 2019 and another zombie shooter. Yeah.
Yeah.
That probably would have helped, because people probably been a little more willing to defend it.
So, as of today, as I look up on Metacritic, which I just want to make a note, Metacritic is only used as an aggregate. I don't rely on this as anything more than just an aggregate. The professional aggregate for Metacritic is at 71. And the user score is at 8.4, but the user score has 10,325 ratings. So I feel like that's a fairly decent chunk of users who decided to review the game, I think. At the very least. Because like they say in retail, people are more likely to leave a bad review than a good review. That's just the way it goes. No, most people are not going to write a review for a product that works. They're just going to use the fucking product and go on with their life. They're only going to leave a review if the product is bad.
Certainly more likely.
You don't complain about a satisfying meal. Let's be honest here.
Yeah. So
That's how it boils down.
So here's my thing about this guy's like beliefs. Like this guy's like thing about like a gruff. Like, here's the thing, man. Like, that, like, part of the argument, like, oh, it's just a white guy. This is like a gruff-looking white dude looking at his date's ass. I'm like, bro, we've played Uncharted for, like, the last, like, decade. And Nathan Drake ogles bitches throughout those games. And most people's primary complaint with Nathan Drake is the fact that, like, the cutscenes don't really mesh well with the fact that he murders a fuck ton of people. I just don't really think that his third argument is really that big of a deal. Or even, like, that substantial. I feel like at that point, you just want to take some of the heat off the fact that, like you said, the game might have just been mediocre at best. It might just be a mediocre fucking video game.
Or even if it was a good game, if a lot of people's first like impressions with it are it's a buggy mess that I can barely play. I mean, no one's gonna play it, dude. If now I'll go ahead and admit, maybe that's not entirely your fault as developers. It's very common in the industry for a product to not be ready to ship and get shipped anyways. I will fully admit that.
Yeah, we see it. We see it a lot.
But you can't really sit there and blame it on identity politics per se.
Now, here's what's interesting. His second
I
one,
mean,
the second
He's not
one
blaming
is
the bugs on the identity politics, so
Fair.
the second one also gets me. Now, we've covered on the
Mhm.
show a few times when like it was very clear that the
Mhm.
reviewer in question either didn't play the game or played the game on a mode that probably didn't show the game off in its best case. Which was, I think it was one of the Ace Combat games where like the dev mentioned that the reviewer played it on like
on easy or something.
On, like,
yeah,
the
on
most-
the
on, like-
lowest difficulty.
yeah, like the lowest difficulty, and the guy's review
Mhm.
was basically like, this game is boring, this game doesn't
Yeah.
have any good gameplay. And it's like, bro, you played the game on like play the game for me mode. What the fuck were you expecting?
Yeah.
I mean, he was on journalist mode. What'd you expect?
And same with, for example, Devil May Cry 5. People complained about the soundtrack being bad. You know, there's a kind of mechanic where the better you play the game, the more of the soundtrack you hear.
out yourself as a shitty game. Out yourself as bad at the game when you say the game's soundtrack is terrible. That is amazing. Oh, that's unfortunate. That happens to you. I hate to break it to you, my guy. You really outed yourself on that one. Oh goodness, I would have loved for him to give some more context for the second one, because he says reviewers who couldn't be bothered to actually play the game, and that is,
Which it wouldn't surprise me really.
it wouldn't, but I would like some
I mean-
receipts on that one, because I feel like that's a pretty
that would
common
definitely
thing that
help.
gets thrown around, but we don't oftentimes have a lot of like
Mhm.
concrete things to point at as
Yeah.
far as like reviewers.
Well,
who...
I mean, that's almost impossible to have concrete things to point out, to be fair. But the simple
It's
reality
difficult,
is...
certainly, but if anyone
Yeah.
could, then it's probably him.
Yeah, fair. But yeah,
And
it just kind of boils down to...
and it was probably just some throwaway comments, given the game was released 3 years ago. So
And also his complaints that people didn't buy it at full price. And quote him, if you love a game, buy it at fucking full price.
oh yeah,
And then,
right.
Like, but how can you know if you love a game until you played it? Like,
yeah.
that's
But
the
that's
truth.
not. But that's not even fair, because like if your game doesn't review well, why am I gonna buy it at full price?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Even if your game
your
is like
release-
even if your game is like a hidden gem or whatever, right?
Mhm.
Like it's really good, but it didn't review well. Like, bro, I'm not giving you full price for that. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just not.
I mean, God Hand exists. Just
There's
saying.
more, yeah. There's more than enough cult classics that didn't sell well originally, but have a good fan base
Yeah.
by now.
Yeah.
That
You
just.
can't...
You go.
I was gonna say, like, you can't just sit there and complain about people buying your game on sale and stuff like that when you release a substandard product. If you release a substandard product, people are gonna pay a substandard price.
Yeah.
Usually, but, well, we've got other articles coming up that'll get to that, I'm sure.
And I would also just like to mention that if I recall correctly, this game was discounted fairly quickly after it came out. It didn't take long.
Probably.
Yeah,
Probably.
it didn't take long for it to get discounted. So feel how you want about it, homie. That's facts are facts. People didn't
Yeah,
want to buy
although
it.
that quick discount was probably because few people were paying it.
Yeah, you gotta get your paper somehow. If people aren't gonna pay the price that you initially asked, you gotta sell copies somehow. If you're gonna sell them at all. That's just
Yeah,
the way it's
especially
gonna.
since
Yeah,
this
no.
game, from what I remember, was relatively long in development.
Yeah.
And just saying, since it's been relatively long in development, and it wasn't received, it was received very middling. It wasn't even, to my knowledge, received poorly as a whole.
And
It
average
was like,
70
this game's
is still decent, but we
Then-
all know that even a 70 is considered not that great from
Oh
the
yeah, you're
buyer's
shit unless
perspective.
you're a 9 or 10. Yeah, I know how review mentality works. Sadly.
Yeah, it's like if you, bro, like look, unless you're a 9, unless you're like a 9 or close to
At
a
least
10.
an 8.
Yeah, like an 8
Yeah,
people
8's
start
minimum.
if you're an 8 people start looking at you skeptically. They're like, "Do I want to spend my money on this?" And if you're a 7, people aren't going to buy you. That's just how it's going to be.
Yeah, which is a ridiculous standard in my book.
Mostly,
But
yeah.
Because why do we even bother with the 10-point standard if we're only going to go from like what, 10 to like 7?
yeah, may as well just go with the 5-point standard, 1 to 5. 7 becomes 3.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Certainly, at least with new kinds of games or IPs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can go in the other direction with games that are from a well-known series like Sonic Frontiers.
Yes.
All right.
But I was going to say, since you mentioned well-known series, just take what money you've made from this. You've already got the previous game made, so you've got a lot of the engine and base work done. Make a sequel.
No.
If it was a middling game and you make a sequel because you believe in your product, congratulations. If you make a good product this time, now that the engine's not a complete mess, there you go. It'll do better. We've seen that several times.
And you'll probably save money because you won't have to create an engine in the process. You already have the engine, so
Yeah.
Just Sony had different
Faster
plans.
turnaround, less money. Yeah.
I'd be surprised
Yeah,
if we.
Sony backed this, didn't they?
Yeah, I
Well,
believe.
Bend Studio is, I think, what? Yeah. Bend Studio is owned by PlayStation Studios, so yeah.
Oh, okay, so got it. Was owned by PlayStation Studios, because they're...
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, and in news I maybe saw coming. Maybe I saw it coming. It's possible. I've talked about the Orwellian nature of the video game industry on more than one occasion. The nightmare hellscape that is this industry. The FTC sues to block Microsoft from acquiring Activision Blizzard. Quote, Microsoft would have both the means and motive to harm competition. Okay. Now, I've said this before, when on some previous shows where I basically said that at this point, if Microsoft did pull this off, it's a fairly large and substantial catalog they're getting out of this. It's
definitely.
It's massive, right? Like that's a lot. That's a lot for you to just eat up on your own. So
Activision has been around for a long time.
Yeah. So on one hand, I'm not super surprised the FTC is stopping them.
Well, trying to.
Yeah, trying to stop them. I mean, we've seen articles now about Sony attempting to make arguments against the deal, saying that there is no alternative to Call of Duty. And look, Sony, listen, every time you make these arguments, I would just like to remind you your business model has been built on exclusives. That has been the entirety of your business model since what, the PS4? PS4 is when they started pushing that hard, right? Like, we have the exclusives. That's been like their
probably even before.
Okay, listen, they've been pushing that since the PS2.
Yeah, you're probably right. So
their whole push with the PS2 besides DVD was we have Kessen, which a lot of people don't remember, but they did push it like it was a big deal.
So
Sony's been doing that for so long.
So
I mean, they probably already had advertisements of that back in FF7 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on one hand,
reminder, FF8 was pushed out to kill the Dreamcast.
did the Dreamcast
There
need?
is proof of that Sony pushed Square to get FF8 out in the US on the same day the Dreamcast launched.
Okay, but okay, listen. I'm gonna ask you this, Soul, and I'm not throwing shade at the Dreamcast here. All right, I have one.
Okay.
I have one in box. I have one with the box. All right, I love this fucking console. But do you really think the Dreamcast needed help to do that?
Probably not, but they
like,
to do it.
like
It didn't help. The Saturn didn't help the Dreamcast. Okay, let's be honest
Sega
here.
didn't help. Sega didn't
Sega
help the
also.
Dreamcast.
Sega tried for like a solid 2 months.
they gave
Sega
it.
tried what? To kill it even more?
Sega.
Eh, I just said they tried, not they succeeded.
The attempt
And you
may
didn't
not
say in
have
which
been
direction
positive.
They tried, yeah.
The attempt may not have been a positive attempt, but they did try.
Uh-huh.
That's why I'm skeptical of the idea that FF8 killed the Dreamcast. I feel like the Dream.
Oh, FF8 didn't kill the Dreamcast, but Sony definitely wanted to make sure.
It was one of the hundreds of nails in the coffin. Something like that.
So I find it odd and also like really hypocritical every single time Sony has made statements about how this entire thing is gonna hurt the industry for them, when their business model, when their advertising, when they have gone on
We're
record.
doing this all for the player.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Sony. How often have you blocked things like crossplay and all?
Or cross save. They haven't exactly been helpful.
Or region locking.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Although region locking was pretty good since the PS3 era, I think.
yeah, I think there wasn't
them.
region there
Okay.
wasn't region locking on the PS4. I know that much because I do have games from other
The
regions.
4 wasn't, but I thought the 5 had it. I could be wrong about that.
No, 5 does.
Okay, I'll retract that one.
5.
I haven't bought a PS5 because a number of reasons.
Yeah, I know.
Mhm.
5 doesn't have it.
Primarily lack of content worth buying it. to be
Yeah.
honest
Yeah,
with you.
lack of exclusives. I think there's only 3 or 4 titles left even in that list.
Which, to be fair, to Sony's credit, is exactly their argument. Because,
Well,
alright, let's be honest here. Let's put all the cards on the table. Sony is not arguing about exclusives. Sony is arguing about Call of Duty.
mostly yes.
That franchise, specifically. Because, I said we'd get to this, for whatever unknowable reason, people will buy the new Call of Duty regardless of any questions of quality
And
immediately.
I will attest to this. I worked at GameStop, and every Call of Duty launch, every single one of them, we had a line out the door and around the corner. It did not matter what. Call of Duty Ghosts, which is still regarded as being one of the most middling Call of Duty games aside from Advanced Warfare.
But didn't that have intelligent fish that swam out of your way?
It had a dog, sir. It had a dog.
And that too. And that, yeah. I mean, that's just
I'm
one of
sold
those
intelligent
franchises.
fish and dogs.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It
I mean, that's just one of those franchises where every one of your friends is gonna buy it, so you're gonna buy it and just continue on playing with your friends.
and that's why I told you earlier, Sol.
Yeah, and that's honestly my problem though, because it's the same exact zeitgeist mentality that has screwed sports titles for more than a decade.
Yeah.
Like,
Because
You want your next Ultimate Team, right?
every single time a new 2K sports game comes out, I have at least a couple of people I work with who are like, "Bro, this game looks so trash." They're like, "Bro, they're doing the
and then
same."
they buy it at full price on release.
Yeah, and then they buy it like 2 days later because they're like, "Well, all my friends got it, and I got nothing else to do, so I'm not gonna like not play." So it's
Pick something better to do, or you have the last 7 years of that game. Play any other version.
play
And I've already played those.
play literally play anything else. Anything. I don't even care what you play. Anything else. Just don't play that. Like, I don't understand. Like, on one hand, I know FOMO is a bitch. Like,
Yeah.
FOMO is a legitimate thing and is a bitch. I get that. But at the same time, it's like, guys, just play something else. But they do it every year. Every year. The same people I know talk about how the last game was trash, now the new one looks about to be about the same. And then guess what? Maybe they go a couple days after launch, but guess what? They buy it. And then they're like, well, I had to get on this new 2K. I'm like, no, you didn't. You didn't have to do anything. You could have done anything else. You could have saved the money. Hell, you could have just burned it.
I mean, they may as well have.
Yeah, you could have just lit that shit on fire, and it would have been just as useful to you. But no, you gave it to 2K. Congratulations, you've succeeded. You failed miserably. Hope you're happy.
Task failed successfully.
Yeah, you've definitely failed the task, sir. I just man.
And the thing, and that's what it boils down to with Xbox and buying Activision Blizzard. And let's be real here, Xbox buying Activision, because Blizzard, all their stuff is mostly going to stay on PC. Xbox isn't going to bother trying to exclusive anything they have, most likely.
Oh yeah,
because Blizzard hasn't put out anything of worth in a while.
I mean, that's why Microsoft did make the offer of the 10-year contract for stuff like Call of Duty. Like they did with we're gonna put Call of Duty on Nintendo systems for the next 10 years, at least.
Yeah, and on one hand, so it's a catch-22 situation, because on one hand, let's say the deal goes through. Microsoft owns Activision Blizzard. Now, there's two ways that can go. Either A, they really do try to put Call of Duty on all systems available, thus increasing the amount of people who can purchase it and play it and making more revenue that way, but giving their competitors a cut. That last part is the problem that most people are worried about, that Microsoft is just going to say, you know how we've given you a cut for the last 5 years? Yeah, no, we're cutting you off.
They're gonna get the cut since they have to put the games on their stores, so they're obviously gonna give them the cut.
Plus, I mean, why would you turn down more money?
Yeah, exactly. I don't. In the past, Microsoft has hardly really shown that they want to wall in their games into their garden as much. For them, the Xbox is mostly just another platform for their games. That's why they all go, we're gonna release all our stuff on Xbox and PC simultaneously anyway. And with stuff like Minecraft, they pretty much have that on every system, and they are still supporting it equally on every system.
I understand people's concerns that this will create a monopoly on Activision Blizzard titles, which, as a reminder, includes Bethesda.
Yeah,
which has been where part of the complaint is. But I'll admit this is my bias showing.
In what way
Once
includes
again,
Bethesda?
cares?
Because Bethesda is already with Microsoft.
Oh yeah, it's basically saying
they've been part of the
Bethesda
ZeniMax
they're
buyout.
already a part of Microsoft. They're already a part of Microsoft. It's taking another American AAA developer on top of having Bethesda, just locking all of the popular AAA Western AAA developers behind the Xbox wall is what people are concerned about. Which, if I can be candid.
Oh God, here we go. Oh, hold up. Let me get.
Why do you fucking care?
Let me get comfortable in my seat because he's about to say something spicy. One sec. Hold up. Homeboy doesn't know how to control himself half the goddamn time. Goes, starts popping off and shit. Go on, Soul, as you were.
Does it hurt you so badly to have to play another video game besides Call of Duty? Like, guys. On top of that, if you're playing on anything but a PC, you're already gimping yourself. Let's be real here.
I mean, I'm gonna keep it real with you, so you'd be really surprised the amount of people who only really do play like Call of Duty, and like one sports game. That's really all they play.
Yep,
that's it.
I guess you'll find a new hobby. Like, it's not that big a deal, guys.
So I really think you are underestimating the sheer volume of people who that applies to, though.
No, I'm sadly, in a futile attempt, again asking humanity to grow the fuck up and accept some shit just doesn't go well. If you want people to stop being shitty as a company, you have to stop incentivizing shitty behavior. And when you consume unquestioningly, you incentivize shitty behavior.
There's a reason why like every single year Madden has just been bad. And I say this despite the fact that like every single year Angry Joe puts out like an hour-long review of the newest Madden game. Oh god. Like, one, I have to watch an Angry Joe video, which is difficult for me sometimes, and two, I'm honestly surprised I'm honestly surprised how he pats out his videos to be an hour long about a Madden game. That is really, I feel like that takes some effort. That's.
I mean, it's a kind of a surprise that with the Madden games, he's not at the point of doing the same as with his Last of Us review.
Oh god, one of the handful of times he's made me laugh. Okay, so when Angry Joe did he did a review of the remake of Last of Us, the first Last of Us game, and all he did was just re-render his original Last of Us review and re-upload it.
I mean, that might be the most accurate possible review. Let's be real here.
It was one of the few times I can honestly say Angry Joe was actually funny. That's I think that's being pretty nice coming from me for once in a while, but you know, still.
You know what's also funny? Last of Us Part 1 on PSN Store being $80 and on Steam being 60.
Good. I didn't even realize it was 80.
Wait, is it 80?
So
No,
the
you're
PS5
kidding.
Yeah, it's the PS5 game and first-party PS5 title.
So hold on, because I know a lot of titles been moving to the $70 price tag because it costs more to make games now. No, it doesn't. It costs more to market games now. And we know this is the fucking case. If you want to argue longer development times, there's arguments to be made. But you can't sit there and say, oh, hey, it needs to be $70 with an expansion pass, day one DLC, and a loot box system. Because otherwise, we're just all going to starve.
We're just all gonna starve.
No. First of all, the person saying this is not a developer. They're not the ones gonna starve. The devs are. Secondly, like, I don't know how to feel about the $70 hike. Like, it was inevitable.
Yeah.
But then, like, this one's 80.
In euros, it shows $79.99 for the standard edition and $89.99 for the digital deluxe in the German store. So I'm guessing it's 80 for America as well.
I'm gonna check real quick.
Yeah, you check that.
I'm legitimately curious.
Yep. Because that would be fucked as well if it's 80 for us and 70 for you.
Unfair
PS4.
treatment of other regions besides the USA. Do we need to go over the price hike for the PS5 console, sir?
Yeah. That's the thing I was thinking of.
Do I need to remind you of what happened here, sir? Unfair treatment of other regions outside the USA?
Don't need to.
Yeah.
No, you don't need to. And Sony also made sure that I'm definitely not gonna touch Forbidden West again on the PS4 until they release it on PC.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I was like, damn. I kind of wonder how that played on PS4. Did Forbidden?
No, it's 70.
Yeah, no,
in the US.
Interesting.
Interesting.
So this is Germany just getting screwed for no reason.
Yeah, but
interesting.
Is that what's 80 euros the equivalent of in US dollars then? Like if you convert it, what is
Let's
that?
see.
Because I know
Direct
value.
would be
85,
84.24
84.28.
currently.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, yeah. You
84.28.
guys are getting bent
So-
over. That's y'all just getting straight up just bent
Mhm.
over a table. That's unfortunate.
Unfortunate is the number of people who are going to buy it at that price anyways.
Yeah, that too.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, well,
Mm-hmm.
Because, like,
you can't stop.
I'll be honest, I'm out of the loop on this. Maybe it's a remaster, not a remake, though, right?
The PS5 one is a straight remake.
Ah, God.
Or rather,
Hold on. I should ask an
yeah,
important question.
that was a bit in between, let's say, because they made a complete new engine for it with additional accessibility stuff and all that, new models for each of the characters, but everything else, the characters, the story, the gameplay, 1-to-1. So somewhere in
So,
between a remaster and a remake.
I would call that a remaster, personally, because
Yeah.
you made no meaningful changes to the gameplay itself. For me, to define
Yeah,
itself, to be
but it's
qualified
more
as a remake,
than the
you
usual
have to make-
remaster.
Yes, which is, credit where it's due, but I don't
Mhm.
think even then it should be the price. It should,
Oh, yeah,
actually,
definitely.
at that point, it shouldn't be more than the game was on launch.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree
That's
with that.
definitely agreed.
I'm not saying it should have been $10, but
Mhm.
like, you know what? You redid all the assets and everything. Fine,
Yeah.
I'll cut you a deal, 40.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You redid all the shit for the engine and everything to make it run better. Sure, we'll say 40. I think that's a
And-
fair price.
And added a massive slew of accessibility stuff, which that's
Yes.
part I'm giving them credit for. That's a
Yes,
good thing.
credit where it's due on that. That's why I'm like $40. You did add things, and you
Yeah.
went back, and you actually redid all the assets and everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
At
There was
least
work
give people
done.
that have at least give people that have the original a significant price reduction. for
Yeah.
that.
Yes, that would have been a good call.
Yeah. And that's the problem. That would have been a good call.
Yes.
That's what
Yeah.
we were talking about.
All right.
And speaking of good calls,
Oh. No, I don't think this is a good call. I wasn't gonna go for
Huh?
Game Award. I was going for the other
no.
one.
yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Speaking of good calls for people.
Oh yeah, good calls. Our last story before we talk about the Game Awards is the man who is trying to speed run going to prison.
As often as he can.
Yuji Naka is now rearrested over alleged Final Fantasy VII: The First Soldier insider trading.
Is anyone surprised?
So just to recap,
At this point, no.
he'd already been brought in once over insider trading concerning a Dragon Quest mobile game that he had dumped. I think he had put like $20,000 equivalency dollars into shares, and then his, obviously he sold them once it got announced because stock prices go up and you make a profit. So it looks like it also seems like he was also did something similar with Final Fantasy, which why would I think? My initial take was,
Well, I was gonna say, well, this isn't even a question of he didn't learn his lesson though. This is shit he would have had to done prior to being arrested for the previous offense. Even
this was
Last Soldier, which is what it was for, has been out for
First
a
Soldier.
while.
Yeah,
First
First Soldier. Sorry, you're correct. I'm sorry. I forget.
Which
how
has
bad
been out
Square is
for
at
a
naming
while
things.
and is also being closed down.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes,
he would have
that's true.
he would have had to have done all this a while. He would have done all this all at the same time or close to it. So it's not that he got caught doing a stupid thing twice.
Yeah.
It's that he had already done this. He'd already done these things. And it's just now catching up to him. So
Yeah, and we now know why he only did that many shares with the other with the Dragon Quest game, because with this one he went in hard.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah. He
The
went.
shares he
you?
purchased was an
Like-
equivalent of 834,000.
Yeah, which is weird. That's weird for me though, because Dragon Quest is like in a Dragon Quest is like a pillar of Japanese society.
Yeah,
Hold
but
up.
so is Final Fantasy.
Yeah, well, before Final Fantasy, you're right, but there's something both you didn't consider. Dragon Quest may be a pillar of Japanese society, but not the entire RPG genre,
Yeah, that's
like
true.
FF7 is considered.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
He bet
That's the
big
reason why
because
we
he
don't
knew...
have the Dragon Quest MMO
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah, exactly. There's a reason we
Mm.
never got 10.
800.
But
He dropped almost $1 million in US dollars on this shit. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. He really.
I mean, my only question is, what other mobile titles has Square released so we can double check him on those too? Like, let's just go ahead and get the whole list out here. Like,
I'll be honest. I'm honestly. This is gonna sound fucked up when I say it, but I'm surprised he has that kind of money.
you're surprised.
A little bit, like, yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. To drop almost $1 million, who just has who has almost $1 million to just drop on,
Yeah.
like,
Dude, you're surprised. Yuji Naka, the guy that's given credit as the co-creator of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, but that was how long ago?
yeah.
Yes,
And
but
what
my
has he
point
done
is,
in the years?
he doesn't
since-
need to though, because he's been coasting off the credit. Once we've seen a number of developers do this, and the only developer I've seen that can argue father of a series, air quotes, and has done anything worth a shit is Igarashi. And he
Mhm.
doesn't even claim to be the father of that series. He's just like, oh no, I just did a lot of good things in it.
Yeah, so.
Mhm.
But the thing is, Yuji Naka, he has so many connections, he can get money.
Yeah,
And
apparently.
he's probably already sitting on a lot. A reminder that Yuji
Possible.
Naka is known enough that Square threw way too much money at him to make Balan Wonderland.
What a world. But yeah,
Yeah, sorry.
anything more than
thinking it's
$10 would
Wonderland.
have been.
Because it should have been
anything
Wonderland.
More than $10 would have been more. Would have been too much.
That's still like almost $1 million. Like, yeah, I get why he bet so much on it. I get it. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not encouraging criminal behavior, but I get it.
I mean, something else to consider. How long has he been doing this?
Oh,
Perhaps that's where that million came from.
Possible.
He did work for Sega prior.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
Quite,
it would have been
quite a long
very
time.
easy for him to get quite a bit of money that way, working with Sega of all people, one of the largest publishers in the gaming industry.
Yeah, he's been working for them up to 2006.
All right.
Yep.
We're gonna detour to
Mhm.
the Game Awards before the show goes
Yeah.
too long over. I don't mind it going over, but too long over. I do try to stay at least a little consistent.
Clearly, at
with-
third person, it goes. Third person goes
Sorry?
33% longer.
It that is traditionally how the show has been. The more people we have on the show at any given time, the longer the show ends up being. Every time, we can never keep the show in check. It never works out. So I didn't watch the Game Awards, as you know, CD. I don't usually watch the shows, but I'll usually see the trailers and I'll hear about the announcements.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
did, however,
Mhm.
play the Forspoken demo that was announced.
Oh, okay.
And I want to just put this out there
Mhm.
right now.
All right. Uh-huh.
The main character needs to shut the fuck up. Like,
So it's a Sony title.
bruh, listen,
Yeah.
bro, listen, I get it. I get it. Nathan Drake can quip, okay? Cool. That was fine for the first 3 games. Bitch, you need to shut up and just let me play the goddamn game. Not everything requires you to talk to me. I get it. You want me to like connect with you, but
But how will you know what's going on if they don't narrate every single thing that's happening on screen that you can already see?
And how will you know how to solve the puzzle after 2 seconds if they don't tell you to?
I guess I guess I'll just have to figure it out. I guess fuck me.
No, you can't have
Yeah,
that.
can't have you.
That's impossible.
No.
You'll just stop playing the game first.
You see, you say that, and that upsets me because I know that's probably true. I feel like there's probably some statistic that backs that up, Saul, and I fucking hate you for it.
At this point, it has to be because Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, both had that problem.
Like I feel
The characters don't shut the fuck up and tell you what to do.
Yeah, I'm playing it and I'm like, this is kind of cool, but it'd be really great if this character would just stop yapping at me. Like anything I do, she has to yap at me about. And it's like, okay, fine. You want to establish personality and stuff through gameplay, whatever, fine. I kind of get it. But but listen, lady, sweetheart, honey. Sometimes you're better seen, not heard. I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but
That's what she has to hear.
Seen, not heard, sweetheart. Seen, not heard. And
See, you sit here, seen, not heard. Me, can you just shut the fuck up for 5 minutes? I've got a headache now. Let me enjoy. Let me have a little silence to enjoy the music that you can't hear.
you can.
So, would you say the gameplay itself was solid, though?
I mean, okay. So I have to preface this by saying I am an RPG person, not an action game person. So by default, the more something leans towards like the action game side of things, the less interested I become. Less interested I become in it. It's just kind of how I am. I mean, as an action game, I guess it's all right. It's not like, you know, it's not it's not Tales of Berseria.
But, yeah, I mean,
but
that's an action RPG.
Reza, that's a pretty unfair bar to set. I'm gonna be real. I think you might need to lower your standard a little.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't.
So it's
it's all right.
Okay. Actually, you know what? Let me think.
Given that slant,
no, you're probably right.
Max's ass cheek might be safe.
Yeah, like it's not. I just look, guys. So you're kind of you probably don't know this about what the changes I've made in my life over the last like few months, where the only games I really buy these days are just RPGs. That's it, because I don't play most other games.
I mean, the inevitable conclusion for you makes sense. Makes sense.
So it's like I got rid of like dozens and dozens and dozens of games that I look at them and I go, am I ever going to conceivably play this, even as content? I even opened it up to maybe I might not play it on my own, but I might use it as content. Bro, I got rid of so many games that way. So when something trends super heavy towards like the action RPG side, what this game kind of does, like that super heavy action side of things, I start to go, this seems more like just like an action game where you just layered on some RPG mechanics onto. And it's like,
as developers want to do, sadly.
Yeah, and
then call it an RPG, which is something I vehemently fucking hate.
Yeah, so it's all right. Like, I probably wouldn't buy it, but again, make it clear, I slant very particularly in one direction when it comes to games. Like, that's just me. Like, my tastes are fairly narrow, so, you know, I wanted to try it, so I just decided to try it. It's just not really, I don't think I'd really pick it up for...
I mean, I think it's worth stating, though, that you've played a number of really good action games and really enjoyed them. So I'd have to wonder if the problem is less that you don't like action titles and more that there are so many action titles that barely fucking try.
Well, it's like the few action
because
titles
I see that real often.
The few action titles I've played boil down to like, what's the last action game I actually completed? Uncharted 2? Maybe? Might be Uncharted 2. That might be like the last time I actually like sat down and like completed an action game of any description. That might be the last
It's been
one.
a while then.
Yeah, no, I don't
Yeah,
usually.
it's been a while then.
I
Okay.
don't usually like go in on those because I don't know, man. They don't hold my attention. I don't really buy. I don't
Makes
really
sense.
get into it. I like my numbers. I like my progression. I like my stats. And when games try to mask an action game as an RPG, that just annoys me.
Yeah, no,
even. That just annoys me.
That's something that
Because at that point, it's like, guys, if you want to make an RPG, make an RPG. If you want to make an action game, just make a fucking action game. But you're not going to convince an RPG person that your thinly veiled action RPG game is anything more than just an action game. You're not going to convince me because no one's falling for that
The only
shit.
way they can convince at that point is, congratulations, you need to be like Tales of Berseria, where the RPG element is clearly there and you can feel it.
Yeah, it's like
If I can't feel your numbers in your action RPG, you should have just made an action title.
yeah. So
The RPG element here is unnecessary. I understand you put it there as a Skinner's box to make the player feel good when the number goes up.
it's
Look, if I want to feel good by watching numbers go up, I would play more Disgaea again.
yeah, it's like it's the same. I guess I don't know, man. Like it's cool, but I probably wouldn't buy it just because of just my slant towards games. Like I kind of was interested in it because I'm like, you know what, it's something new. But after having tried the demo and this bitch just will not shut up on top of everything else I have a problem with, I'm good. Thanks. So for this portion of the show, did you guys see anything at the Game Awards that made you go, oh, well, that's cool? Was there anything that stuck out to you guys?
There've been a few surprises, actually.
Yeah, there's one real big surprise. But I actually watched the Game Awards live because Steam was giving away Steam Decks. I was like, yeah, I'll gamble. Why not? I'll watch it for once. It was honestly better than the last time I watched it. Probably due to the fact that it was an hour less of ads and the announcer talking and making bad jokes. So that probably helped a lot.
And Animal was there.
Yes. There are a few things that caught my eye. The new Hellboy title visually looks really good. Visually.
It looks like the
Can't
comics,
speak to
so
anything
that
else.
was good.
Yeah. Can't speak to anything else because we don't have anything else to go off of.
Yep.
But hey, you guys nailed the visuals. Besides that, I haven't
Dead
played
Cells
Hades,
DLC was nice.
Yeah.
So now we know, the Konami does allow them to use that, which is
Yeah,
neat.
no, that caught me off guard, actually. I was like, oh, so Konami is going to let something happen with the Castlevania series that isn't NFTs and pachinko machines. Nice!
Yep. That was neat. And yes, Hades 2, that was a neat announcement.
Yep.
That I saw the trailer for that. That shit. The animated trailer was actually God, I will give these kind of devs credit, man, when they want to make a cool looking animated fight scene or something. That shit looks fucking fantastic. That trailer looked fucking cool. Like it might like maybe they don't show you gameplay, but they just show you like something animated that just looks fucking cool.
It did show some gameplay.
But like it looked
They showed
cool.
a little bit of
so,
gameplay. Not
yeah.
much, but a little.
So, that was cool.
Yeah. There was one trailer where I had no idea what it would be up until the last moment. The Transformers Reactivate one.
Oh,
That did not look like fucking Transformers at all.
I forgot about that.
Oh,
yeah,
damn.
no, I forgot about that shit. I was sitting there like, so what? What is this? Is this like...
It's
is
some
this-
shooter.
Yeah.
Okay, and then boom, Transformers. What?
I was like,
Huh?
what got me was like, oh, they're in the robot. I'm like, oh, is this some new weird Titanfall thing or something? I don't know much about that series, but, you know, guy now is in mech, so, oh, Transformers. What?
Huh. Yeah, exactly.
What? I love that reaction.
I know I'm not the biggest Transformers fan, but like, this
Yeah,
feels
but
a little
that's-
out of place.
Mm-hmm.
I love that
Just a
reaction.
little. Just a small, tiny little. Ugh. Judas certainly looked, like a game by Bioshock maker Ken Levine.
Yeah.
You could definitely notice that influence. Death Stranding 2 was a neat surprise. I mean,
Yeah.
I knew that the game did well, but didn't know that they're gonna be this quick with
God.
announcing the second one.
Death
I was surprised there was gonna be a second one, to
Death-
be honest.
Death
I knew
Strand-
Kojima apparently had an announcement.
Death.
But and
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, but I'm really surprised Death Stranding of all games got a sequel, because like, well, I know it was well received for the most part. I know a number of
Yep.
people also had problems with it,
I mean, yeah, it was
primarily gameplay, but I
Yeah.
mean that was kind of the intent. So
Death
Mhm.
Death Stranding
Yeah.
is one of the handful of games that like I will play, but it's a weird like Zen experience. I don't know how else to explain it to you, but when you are tasked with walking across an environment to deliver something, you just kind of get into this weird. The music kicks in,
Zen?
and it's just this weird Zen experience, man. It's really relaxing.
Mhm.
I mean, it should
because
be.
they really managed to make it an actual walking simulator.
Yeah, like
Not what you'd use usually as a deriding
Yeah.
term or a description of, you don't do anything besides look at things and walk around. But this was actually a walking simulator.
yeah, you have to like make sure you keep your
And a
balance.
well-done one.
You have to make sure you keep your balance. You got to make sure you manage how much stuff you're carrying at one time. You have to think about how you're trying to traverse the landscape to where you don't accidentally trip over a rock, eat shit, and have your entire payload fall into a river. Yeah, that's happened to me. Thanks. Appreciate that
Yeah,
one
it's-
game.
Probably happened
like
to a lot of
Kojima-
people.
I feel like Kojima heard the criticisms for Walking Simulator, stopped and went, but what would that look like?
What would that look like?
And full credit to him. Like, if that was how it got made,
What
full
would
credit.
That would be mission fucking accomplished.
That would be the most Kojima thing possible. Would be him like seeing the term walking simulator, looking it up, and go, okay,
I could do
fair.
that.
He's like, okay, but fair. But what would this look like if it was done well? And he based his entire design document for this game just off of, all right, what if we made walking from point A to point B
The actual
game.
challenge.
The whole point.
the whole game? That's all this game is. But sir, no one wants to spend like 30 to 45 minutes walking across terrain.
Challenge accepted.
And he's like,
Yeah,
bet?
challenge accepted.
He's like, bet?
He looked, he's like, are you kidding me? I've been getting people to do that since the MSX.
Yeah.
They just hide from people while they're doing it.
Yeah. It's,
Remember the ladder?
there are so many. Death Stranding is one of the few times that I will like play a video game and like just turn on some fucking music and just vibe out as I'm walking across the scenery, only to accidentally fuck up and eat shit and fall down a hill. Eat shit, fall down a hill, lose everything in the process, and it's like I could look for the shit or just reload. Bitch, I'm already like 45 minutes into this walk. I'm gonna have to find my shit, aren't I? I'm just gonna have to find it. I'm not starting over. It's like I'm either gonna find it or I'm gonna show up to the next town with only like 20% of what they told me to deliver and be like, sorry kid, you're not getting Christmas gifts this year.
Speaking of Christmas gifts, I think some people kind of gotten one in this show with the announcement of the next Armored Core.
Yeah, no, I was gonna mention, that's definitely the most surprising thing to me in the entire Game Awards. I had just accepted that From Software had moved past Armored Core.
Yeah.
That
You
it
probably
was going
expected
to
more in
be
Elden
a
Ring
relic of the
DLC
past.
announcement.
Yeah, that was kind of more what I expected. And then suddenly, From Software, giant robots, I'm like, no. No.
You only believed
No,
it
you're
once
not.
the title was shown.
Yeah, I don't believe it until you confirm this is not a new IP. Don't play with me this way. Because I actually trust From Software to make a new Armored Core, is the thing. Like, I expect them to put in the resources needed.
And
now,
going by the announcement, you're not gonna have to wait too long.
No, thankfully. My biggest hope is that it feels a lot like Armored Core 1 through 4, more than 5 was kind of weird in how restrictive it was movement-wise. So hopefully it leans more towards the older titles, which I kind of expect it to do so, since it's going to be a return for the series.
Yeah, gonna have to wait and see what that actually is gonna be. But,
Can I just say,
that's a good thing. Yes.
like, Final Fantasy 16, it looks, every time they show stuff of it, I'm just like, damn. God damn. Okay. I like where we're going. But then I remember Yoshi P's involved in this. So, you know, maybe I shouldn't be as surprised as I am. That was
Yoshi P and the designer from Devil May Cry.
Oh.
Yep.
Shit. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough.
I mean, where do you think the battles come from? The fighting system.
Okay, Nomura is not involved, so we'll get it sooner than that.
No. The 2025, I should explain. So the game's slated for 2023.
Yep.
Okay, and it has exclusive. If you actually watch the trailer, down at the bottom it mentions.
I think it was a year exclusivity.
To PS5.
Well,
okay. It comes out in June.
Or was it a half
and it says
a year?
Exclusivity half a year.
Yep. Yeah. Right. It was half a year.
Which means I expect, okay, so 2024, probably spring 2024, we'll get it on the Epic Games Store, and then I'll have to wait at least another 6 months for it to come to a non-predatory available way to buy it.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, okay, so this wasn't a Nomura jab. I was expecting this to be a Nomura jab.
Yeah, this was not a Nomura jab.
Because
if I wanted to jab at Nomura, I would have brought him up with the poor writing and explaining everything.
This was a Square doing PC store things jab.
Fair enough.
All I want for Christmas is for you to release your own way for me to purchase your titles on PC. Please stop doing this exclusivity deal with EGS.
Yeah.
Please.
Just put the things on Steam. Even Ubisoft has realized that that's the way to go.
Like, please. I know that Epic Games is paying you quite a bit of money to keep your shit on EGS for like 6 months. Just stop it.
It's
like, I would have already bought Final Fantasy Origins if you would have put it on anything but Epic Game Store.
Even that money would have... I don't think even that money will be enough to counteract what they lose by not releasing it on Steam.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Not putting it on Steam is like most devs consider not having their PC game on Steam to basically just be a fucking death sentence. Like, if you're not on Steam, then where the fuck else? Like, yeah, you can go on like a few of these other places, but if you're not on Steam, like GOG.
For some of these small and indie devs, I can see the advantage because they have a revenue stream that they can count upon. That I get. But if you're the size of Ubisoft or Square, there's just no need.
There's no need, and you're just being greedy. There's no other way around it.
Yeah, basically.
You're being greedy in the weirdest short-term way. As per normal, you are hampering your product and your actual potential growth for short-term gain. Probably because it looks better to the investors.
Likely, yeah.
Yeah, like, you're right. But... damn. Yeah, you're right. I got nothing. I got nothing for you on that one. Damn. That hurts. He's right. But like I do have to wonder though, because I've oftentimes told people I'm friends with, like, I'm not like, they're like, oh yeah, it's on EGS, and I'm like, I'm not buying it. Like, dude, EGS
Yeah, so it's
is
not on PC.
they're like EGS is
Yeah.
not that bad. I'm like, I didn't say it was bad. I just said I'm not buying it on EGS. That's all there is to it. And he's like, come on, man.
So,
And I'm like, look, man, you're allowed to feel like EGS is what it is. That's fine. I'm not shaming you for it. I'm just saying I'm not buying it if it's on EGS. If it's on Steam, fine.
Yep.
He goes, okay, but like, it's like this is literally the equivalent of saying you'll shop at Target but not at Walmart. And you know what? And if someone really wants to make that argument, that's a perfectly fair argument to make if that's how they feel about it. I'm not here to have that conversation though. I'm not buying on EGS. Feel how you feel about it.
They're right. It is like that. And if I had the number of problems with Walmart that I do with Epic, then yeah, I wouldn't shop at Walmart ever. Sorry, I can actually stick to my guns on something.
Yeah.
I'm not installing their software because I do not approve of their business practices. Full stop.
It would be kind of funny if a new store chain like Target or Walmart opened up and they'd need years to even have
You
shopping
have to,
carts.
yeah, you have to buy all items here one at a time and get back in line.
Yeah.
Do we still not have a shopping cart? Because I'm really gonna be up.
They have by now.
It has
By
one
now
finally.
they do.
Okay,
Yeah, but
good. I was about to say, like, that meme
it's
was
far too late.
that
Yes.
meme
And
that
while
Took
we're
them
at it-
way too long.
And while we're at it, before you get to the back line, hold on. I need to hold on to your credit card for a minute. I need to write down everything by hand so I can hand it off to this other guy over here. Don't worry about it. It's completely safe. We promise.
Yeah, we promise your information is not at risk at all. We promise.
Mhm.
There's no way we could possibly mess this up. I don't know, man. EGS just has me in a weird fucking spot. Because on one hand, I have to like. On one hand, it's like every time I read about it, it's like they are losing quite a bit of they're spending quite a bit of money on paying for like exclusives, like stuff that releases on their store exclusively for these companies to put their games on their store for some amount of time exclusively. Like, that's a lot of money going out. And I don't necessarily...
I mean, it wasn't their money. It was Tencent's money.
That's still a lot of money for what seems like not a lot of gain. I don't really know
I don't think they're spending Tencent's money. Tencent doesn't have a
fair enough.
controlling interest. Tencent has less than 50% shares.
That's a fair point.
They're simply using their Fortnite money for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Fortnite money though. That Fortnite.
Yeah, you know what? To everyone, to go to a previous topic, for everyone that says there's nothing like Call of Duty, don't worry, Fortnite's here by some chance.
Fortnite will fill in the gap for you kids. Don't worry. I hate.
Don't worry. Where Call of Duty has the 30 to 40-year-old demographic by the balls, Fortnite's got the 10 to 20 demographic by the balls.
Because like the more I look at it, the more I'm just like, they are spending an ungodly amount of money for this model that they have, and I'm like, I would like to know how sustainable that really is. Because like,
I don't think the intent was to be sustainable, to be honest with you. The intent was to get titles onto their store so that people had to use their software if they wanted to play it.
The goal is to become sustainable.
Yes. The goal is to become Steam. And,
or at least a valid competitor to it, yes. And
which, let's be...
They were realistic in their approach of, yeah, we're gonna have to dump a lot of money into this before we get there. They really didn't have many other choices than going the way they did.
Yeah, because, I mean... And I always like to point out to people that it's not like Steam started out amazing.
Oh, definitely not.
I remember
a few years
I
as
remember specifically when I bought the orange box, Half-Life 2, like 50% of the time I would launch it, it would get to the splash screen of the guy with the valve in his head, then crash. And it did this like 50% of the time, 50% of the time I open it, it would just crash, just outright. So, I mean,
Yep, Steam didn't start out with a good reputation either.
So
yes, but I feel like also that's a little apples to oranges because Steam was also doing that at a point in time that there was nothing
obviously,
even close.
Yes.
So
yeah, they were
you can't really
essentially
damn a pioneer
pioneers.
at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, there really wasn't anything like Steam at the time when Steam started. That was like the new, that was like the fresh new frontier as far as like, obtaining your games. I think at that point, like buying digital games on 360 was becoming like this new thing, right? Like that was like.
I think Ubisoft had a launcher at that time, a limited one, but mostly.
Yeah.
I mean, mostly even Steam was at the start just a Half-Life and a Counter-Strike launcher.
Yep.
And you know what?
But I don't think EGS would have been anywhere near as railed and still kind of railed to this point if they would have had a shopping cart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
those
if they didn't scrape your
choices,
information off your PC, like
those choices in design and development were very questionable.
Yeah, I would like to have been there for the design meeting for their store. When it's like, all right, guys, we got the layout, we got the logins, we got everything we need. And someone's like, sir, what about a shopping cart? We got everything we need, but sir, but what if...
Sir, what about a shopping cart? No one buys more than one video game. Everyone plays Call of Duty.
No one's gonna buy more than one item at any given time. Come on, guys.
We don't even have more than one game on this store at the time.
Yeah, like no one's going to buy more than one game at a time. We don't need to worry about that. So we got everything.
Sir, what about cosmetic DLC? No one buys more than one game at a time. Now let's move on.
I mean, yeah.
Have you seen what happened to the first 5 people that suggested this? Look out the window. Do you want to follow them?
Looks out the window, sees
looks out the window, looks back at the boss. Kinda.
Purely on principle, by the way. That's the only reason I'm gonna go out on principle.
I feel like it's a faster way to get to the ground at this point.
Save me from having to empty out my desk. That's for sure. That got dark. That got a little dark for my taste. That's a little dark. Nothing too dark. Anything else, gentlemen, before we wrap this show up? Anything else that
I enjoyed the little jab that the Vampire Survivors mobile port trailer had at the start.
Oh.
It starts out with the announcer voice. You all have phones, right?
Oh. Yeah. You all have... Yo, like, I'll be honest with you, man. How often do you think that guy at Blizzard has had that thrown at him? Like, in the office?
Like, daily.
Like, just a random day in the office, and someone just decides to just meme the shit out of him.
Actually, hold on. Correction. Considering who it was, never in the office directly. Daily on Twitter.
Oh yeah, because you try to meme him at work, he's just gonna fire you. That's he's just gonna fire your ass.
It's probably gonna be in more subtle ways, like someone just pins a picture of a smartphone on his door or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a picture of a smartphone. It's like, and it says underneath, "Do you have this?" Do you
has been lost. Do you have it?
Yeah, do you have it? And like, as much of a meme as that is, the amount of money that Diablo Immortal brought in.
That's as expected quite a bit, but yeah.
As much
mostly obviously from China.
Yeah.
Bruh, the whales, man. Holy shit.
I mean, you have to keep in mind, Diablo Immortal actually had a problem with at least one of his players spending too much money to the point he couldn't play the game anymore.
Yeah, he couldn't do. He
Because
couldn't
literally
do.
couldn't queue up.
He couldn't
Yeah,
do
he was ranked
PvP
too
because
high.
he had spent so much money that the game was unable to put him into PvP because there was nobody in the game
Trying
that
to
could
find someone at your
pair
rank.
against him. ...
No one found.
He
Trying
beat-
to find someone 100 ranks below you. ... Could not find.
He had beached himself. The whale beached himself. He could not play the game.
That's a pretty good way to put it. I had always put it as he actually won the game. Pay to win's final frontier. You won the game.
You
no
become the
opponents
final
left.
boss.
There's nothing else. According to him, I talked about this on the show when it was relevant. He spent like $100,000 or somewhere.
See,
around
that's
there.
the
That's
shit
well
that
alright.
like just hurts me.
Bro.
The concept of someone spending $100,000.
Bro,
on
like
any
on
fucking
his
title.
character screen, he has the paid currency, and that's like $5 or $6 grand on his character screen of paid currency that he has just sitting on his account, just $5 or $6 grand just off the top, just like right there. It's like, my guy, like I could make you a list of better ways to use your money, but clearly I'm not gonna get through to you, so. It's fine. You do you, homeboy. I got nothing else to say to you for that one. Damn. You don't spend your money like that. Like, I can't even imagine, man. Like he had already blown like $20, $30, $40,000 within the first like 2 weeks of the game. Because he was already like super powerful in the first few weeks of the game. And then he just continued to continue blowing money on this fucking video game until he had gotten to like $100,000. It was like...
My question, since it's been brought up, how's that going to affect Diablo 4?
Not really. They're from what all they've released. It's gonna have cosmetics and a season pass and all stuff like that, but it's all gonna be cosmetic stuff.
Okay, I'll believe it for now, I suppose.
Because
like, until Blizzard
they-
disappoints me yet again.
Obviously, but I think they realize that with their main title, they can't go that route because it's not a mobile game.
Is Diablo
They
4 going to be on mobile? Because that's the question.
No.
Oh!
Nope.
Okay,
PC and console.
I have
not
to
mobile.
ask. I had to ask. Bare minimum. I felt like I should
The
have
real
asked.
question is if it'll be more efficient to grind in World of Warcraft to get stuff for Diablo 4, just like it was with Overwatch 2.
Oh, I told you about that, CD. I told you about this.
Yep. You did.
About how people were grinding in World of Warcraft because it was more efficient to get stuff for Overwatch that way.
Yeah.
Which, at that point, you really have just made a play to earn, haven't you? It's just a play to earn. That's all that is. You've essentially completed the NFT, the wannabe NFT model somehow with your games. Your games are now a self-sustaining loop of gameplay, earning, and buying stuff. It really is kind of impressive.
Yeah. Although with Diablo 4, you're still gonna have the paid expansion stuff, like probably like additional characters and campaign stuff and all. So if they do what they say, that's gonna be a good mix. That's gonna be fine.
Awesome. All right. Well, I guess that's going to wrap up the show, isn't it? Shit. Wasn't expecting that. As always, you can find this podcast on a variety of different platforms, ranging from Apple, Google, and even Spotify, and our own YouTube channel, The Turn-Based Cynics, where this show is uploaded every single week on Sunday, lest I have to eat a piece of footwear, and I'd much rather not. Not a lot of calories in that shit. I've checked. I've done the research. I need calories. I don't really need leather and shoestring. That's just not going to be good for me in the long run.
That'd be good for a long run, though.
Why not if he eats it?
Yeah, not if I eat it. If I have to eat it, it's not going to be good for much of anything. In fact, I'm going to need some fiber to move that shit, aren't I? Ugh. thank you, thank you, Soul, for being on the show. And don't worry, you'll be getting to know Soul quite a bit over the next couple weeks, because it's gonna be me and him running the show. CD's gonna be away on holiday, and we're gonna be running
I
the.
apologize in advance.
We're gonna be.
No, you don't.
We're gonna be running the show.
If you disagree with me, make sure to put it in the comments and everywhere else. Disagree as much as possible.
We're going to be running a show next week. We'll be off on Christmas, and then we'll be running one last show for the year. And I think by then, after that show, CD will be back at that point. Because I think you'll be gone for the last show of the year, right? That's like
I think so, yeah.
January 1st. Yeah, you won't be here for that one. So,
Yep. Exactly.
So yeah, that's it. That's all I got for you guys. I hope you've enjoyed the show. For the variety of takes that we've had, good, bad, and tasty. Many tasty takes on this show. Always fun.
But not itchy.
Yeah, not itchy. Thank God.
Or leathery.
As always, everybody, have a fantastic week. Game on, and we will see you all next time. Fantastic.
Talk to you next time.
Fantastic. Yeah.